People didn't want to come down to be next to the river. That's a real shame, that you don't even want to be next to something so beautiful.
When I moved down here to take the job, came out to look at the river, I was shocked. It was literally an open sewer.
And there were signs with skulls and crossbones telling us that swimming was prohibited. No more swimming.
I remember when it smelled like sewage, when you really never saw anything alive in it.
The recommendation was to get tetanus shots before you went out on the water, because if you fell into the water, there was every chance that you would get sick from it. That's how dirty it was.
When we saw the Harvard men jumping off the dock, we'd be shocked that anyone would want to touch it.
And the notion was sort of, well, you're not really going to be able to do anything about this. You got to remember that this is not an inviting place to have a picnic. Nobody hung out here.
Rita would say, when you're older, you'll be able to swim in the Charles River. And my parents and my other aunts and uncles would say, oh, Rita, you're crazy. Not gonna happen. You could walk across the Charles River right now, never mind swimming it. One person had to get all the sort of boats pointed in the right direction. We're on the river now, you'll see the ducks swimming. What's the idea? Get your ducks in a row. So Rita was able to get the ducks in a row and get them focused on the goal.
When the new dam was proposed, Rita knew that there was going to be new land, which was all industrial dumping zone between the Museum of Science and the new dam. It was called by the press at the time the lost half mile. Well, Rita didn't think it was lost. So Rita made sure that she got a face-to-face meeting with Ted Kennedy. When she got the meeting, she said, Ted, we need to acquire this land on both sides of the river because it's going to be parkland and it's going to be beautiful. It's now North Point and Secretary's Landing. Beautiful places to hang out. That was entirely Rita's vision.
Rita was a tour de force in Massachusetts politics. Simply put, nothing happened along the Charles River that Rita wasn't involved with, either in support of or in opposition.
If she thought calling the governor or calling a senator was going to get something done, she would call the governor or senator.
Rita had convinced the head of the Corps of Engineers to go on a boat trip with her up the river, where she showed him that there was a possibility for natural storage areas if land could be acquired, so that when flooding would occur, it would be captured by those areas. So instead of spending $100 million on a dam and levees, the Army Corps of Engineers spent about $8 million to buy about 8,000 acres, which became the Natural Valley Storage Area, which acts as a natural sponge to stop flooding in the lower part of the river.
Rita Barron put the Charles on the map. No one thought about the Charles. She called it the People's River. She literally learned to swim so that she could participate in the first swim day that CRWA organized. She was committed.
She made the river an issue. Governor Dukakis read every streamer, which was her newsletter, she published. They became partners in crime.
They would work on some things privately and on some things publicly. But they worked with a number of very important ideas that have since been adopted as mainstream, but at the time were creative and extremely thoughtful.
Rita's contribution, and it was great, was expanding our sensitivity to the importance of preserving what we had and making it better.
I took over at CRWA in 1990. It was a really small little organization. Made some noise, was recognized, but it had 1.5 employees, and it was clear that we needed to go in new directions. We were living on a budget, I think, of about $100,000 a year.
Bob is and was a visionary. He had an intense focus on data collection, the scientific aspects of this, and technologies that could make a difference in the quality of the watershed. And he pursued those things in a sophisticated, thoughtful, rigorous kind of way.
He did not accept conventional wisdom of what the sources of pollution were. He always follows the data, and he holds people accountable.
The biggest thing was science. And when we hired our first biologists, we changed the nature of the organization overnight. All of a sudden, we knew more than the state or the feds about what was going on. Our monthly monitoring program, which we started in 1994, was central to our being able to interpret what was happening on the river. So we built our own lab, and what we learned was just stunning. Entire dormitories were hooked to the wrong pipe in the ground. So every time toilets were flushed or the shower was used, it all went directly out to the Charles River. The changes made between 1993 and 1997 or 1998 were unbelievable. It completely changed the city's acceptance of the river. All of a sudden, the river was a good place to be.
For each new development anywhere along our riverbanks, this bill requires proof that the project will not harm the environment and that no feasible alternative exists.
When I took over CRWA in 2018, it was such an honor to be joining this organization with such an incredible brand and track record of accomplishment of cleaning up the Charles. I grew up in Newton, about a half mile from the Charles, and so to see how far it's come and to know that I could play a role in further restoration and further protection, that was really exciting.
What Emily brings is an incredible passion to this job. Knowledge as well of the substantive aspects, but really, most importantly, a knowledge of how public policy is made and how public opinion is formed in the service of important causes.
Stepping into this role, I knew that one of the big challenges I would face is helping people understand that the work is not done, because you look at the river, it looks healthy, you see fish, you see birds, you see turtle, and you think, what's more to be done? But there is more to be done.
You know, the water should be free flowing. It should be allowed to continue from its source all the way out to the sea. And where we put impediments on that, it causes problems. Winikisak, Nataswis Hartman, Nitmas Masipia, Ni Masipi Wampanoag. Good day, my name's Hartman, I'm from Mashpee, I'm Mashpee Wampanoag. For me, it's always happy news when you hear that a group want to hear what Indigenous people have to say. So much of what Indigenous people go through is erasure. The idea that we're only existing in the past, that we don't have a presence in this modern world. You know, as a contemporary Native person, it's really important to act and speak and move as if we're still here, because we are. And the concerns that we have aren't simply the concerns of 400 years ago, or the concerns of now. It's absolutely a great success story, the cleanup of the Charles River. We should be able to come to the water and swim in the summer, at any point, anywhere. You know, I'm happy that I get to know the river as it is now.
Some things remain the same, and some things we're doing differently. We still lead with science and data. We still litigate when necessary to hold companies, governments accountable. We still hire amazing staff. The board had done some stakeholder surveys before they hired me, and a frequent theme was, CRWA is a best kept secret. Well, as an advocacy organization, you don't really want to be a secret, much less a well-kept one. We're only as powerful as the army of regular people who make their voices heard. We've done a lot around that, to get into the news, get into social media feeds, to take direct action, so that people know about the problems that still exist and what they can do to fight to protect the river that they love so much. We are doing more to partner with ally organizations in order to amplify our collective voices. We are investing heavily in DEI. CRWA has always been about reducing barriers to access to a clean river, but our DEI work is helping us foster a workplace where staff feel seen, respected, and supported. And it's helping us amplify the perspectives and voices of the diverse communities in our watershed. After all, to be successful, we need everyone to feel that they have a stake in our work to protect the river that they love. And it's all working. In my 7 years here, we have quadrupled the budget, we have more than tripled the number of staff, and as a result, We have made tremendous progress for the river. Dams are coming down. Our award-winning Charles River Climate Compact is getting communities to work together across municipal boundaries to protect against climate change impacts like flooding and heat for the first time ever. We are restoring local tributaries like Cheesecake Brook in Newton, the Muddy River in Brookline and Boston, and Canterbury Brook in Mattapan. Our Cut the Crap campaign is getting thousands of new people involved and engaged to call for an end to the crap going into the river. And a swimmable Charles is finally within reach. It can be a really tough time to care about our environment. We've got climate change, mass extinction, plastic in our bodies. It's easy to get discouraged. And that's why I love to remind people of the story of the Charles River. People had given up on this river. People had said for decades, it will never be cleaned up, it's impossible. And they were wrong. We humans can do tremendous things when we put our minds to it. And when we have leaders like Rita Barron and Bob Zimmerman and all of the staff and volunteers and financial supporters over the years who said, nope, not acceptable. As we celebrate 60 years of CRWA, we are confident that the next 60 years will be even more transformative. Happy birthday, CRWA.
Happy birthday, CRWA.
Happy 60th birthday, CRWA. And thank you, Emily Norton, for your leadership.
Happy 60th birthday, CRWA. Thank God you're around.
Happy 60th, CRWA.
Happy birthday, CRWA. 60 is a great number.
Hey, from the Esplanade Association, happy 60th CRWA.
Happy 60th, CRWA from Mass Audubon.
Happy 60th, CRWA.
Happy birthday, CRWA.
Happy birthday, CRWA.
Happy birthday, CRWA.
Happy birthday, CRWA.
Happy 60th birthday.
Happy 60th CRWA.
Happy birthday to our friends at CRWA from Mass Rivers.
Happy birthday, CRWA, from your neighbors on the Neponset.
CRWA, happy 60th.
Happy 60th from the Mystic.
Happy birthday, CRWA.
Happy birthday, CRWA.